Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today we're doing a really fun and special reading, and this is going to be part of a new series here on the channel in regard to pop culture and pick a card readings. So this is going to be the Pretty Woman reading, and the theme for this reading is essentially your love and authenticity glow up, how you go from rags to riches by opening your heart and being in your authentic power. So we're going to be looking at a couple of different themes specific to the movie Pretty Woman. Some of those include love glow up, rags to riches, romance, love and opening the heart, authentic expression of the self and connection to others, classes versus freedom and humanism and equality, poverty and abundance, mutual activation and reciprocity with respect, prostitution, i.e. selling the self literally or figuratively, and dreams coming true, not settling for less, staying in integrity versus pride and ego. So these are some of the themes we're going to look at in the reading in regard to your personal glow up, your personal rags to riches story. So use the images that you see here before you. We have number 1, which is her iconic boot from the movie. Number 2 is shopping bags, which I'm sure we all remember. Number 3, the beautiful and again iconic red dress. So choose the one that resonates with you or multiple images that resonate with you, and use the timestamps down below to skip ahead to your readings, and we will see you there. All right, hi group number 1. If you chose this beautiful hooker boot, you know what? They're not hooker boots. I used to wear those when I used to go out clubbing and stuff. So they're not hooker boots. They're just sexy boots. But in the movie, she is a prostitute. So that is what I mean by that. So essentially, if you chose the boot, this is going to be your reading. We're going to look at what themes around rags to riches or you selling yourself versus stepping into your authenticity that is needing to be looked at right now. So I have a pre-pulled oracle and tarot. So let's take a look. I'm just going to set the tarot aside and we're going to begin with the oracle. You have happy, happy. So great start to do with your happiness, your authenticity, what really sparks joy for you. Let's take a look. You have meditation brings answers. Okay. Success. So it feels like this is going to be successful, whatever this is, this rags to riches story for you, this glow up, this stepping into your authenticity. It's going to be beautiful. You have playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. I love that, since you also have happy, happy. So definitely to do with your enjoyment, your playfulness. And we saw that in the movie as well. Like, Vivian, the main character, is very, very playful, and she's very connected to her own happiness despite living in a situation that is less than ideal. And she still allows that playful, youthful spirit to shine. And you have simplicity, put your energy into the basics and let go of excess. It's interesting because the movie that we're talking about here is very much about excess. You know, it's like going from being on the street to being in the penthouse of like the Ritz-Carlton or whatever the hotel was, you know, the most fancy hotel, and having everything that you could possibly want. So it does feel like there's something in regard to, but again, she does teach him how to be simple again. Like, he's so used to living this high life that he's lost touch with his roots. He's lost touch with his family, his friends, his connections, his authentic, even connection to the earth. Like, she makes him take his shoes off and go walk on the grass in the park and just chill out and get a hot dog instead of having like a 4-course, 5-course meal. So the simplicity of things and the playfulness, this is what leads to success, because it's authentic and it brings those clarity of answers through the happiness that this provides. So let's take a look at your tarot cards. You have the King of Swords. Very much, I can't remember his name, the main character. Like, I literally just watched the movie the other day, but I can't remember his name. If you remember his name, let me know in the comments below. And you have the Empress. Perfect energy for this reading, because the Empress is all about abundance and wealth and prosperity, and just be like, that's the energy of when she goes back into the store and she's like, don't you guys work on commission and you refuse to serve me? Huge mistake. And that's the Empress. Like, she's in her power when she's She knows that her value is there. And even if those people couldn't see it, she can now, or she's starting to. And then you have the Five of Swords. So a little bit of like some complications or some competition even. And you have Temperance, finding balance between all of these things. Okay. So group number one, what I'm seeing here for you is that your rags to riches story and this very pretty woman glow up for you is very much centered around you finding balance. Part of that is going to be through connecting to your inner self. So I think that's what meditation brings answers is talking about there. It's really about you stepping into your authenticity by connecting to what that actually is in the first place, getting very clear on that. There does appear to be somebody else here. The King of Swords could be an expression of you, or it could be somebody else who you're connecting to. And if you're the Empress and this person is the King of Swords, then this person is very clear, authentic, and they communicate directly. They could even be blunt. So, but I see that if this is somebody that you're in contact with or somebody that's going to come into your life, the key here is really to activate this playfulness within you, to remain in your happy, natural, I just heard happy-go-lucky. Yeah, happy-go-lucky state of being, because that is what's going to bring that success. And it's very simple, right? Like being in your happiness doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It's really just about you being connected with yourself and feeling aligned in that connectivity. That Temperance card here is really kind of, it's talking to me about this clarity of mind, and so is the King of Swords. So this is an aspect of you. It is very much about you connecting to that clarity of mind so that you can feel happy in the moment without actually necessarily needing anything outside of you. And those things outside of you, the abundance that's meant to come in to give you this glow up, is going to be there because the Empress is here. And the Empress is all about abundance. She's the one who can create anything from nothing, and no matter what she does or where she goes, she's going to be successful. And that's the kind of energy that Vivian gives as well. It's like she might have, hit rock bottom and had to fend for herself, but no matter what happened, she didn't lose her optimism, she didn't lose her spirit. And so she remained, her pure self. And because of that, she attracted these opportunities, or she magnetized to her this person who was going to help her to get out of that situation, this opportunity essentially that brings her this success. So that's what I'm seeing here for you, group number one, is that when you are in your power, because they're reminding me that those boots just like scream power to me for whatever reason. It's like very Empress energy, but like it's like almost dominatrix, you know what I mean? It's like powerful, being in your authentic power, feeling confident, feeling sexy, feeling just good and happy in yourself. That is what kind of brings you into this sense of, yeah, I can make this happen. I can do this. And that's what attracts the situations that bring success and that bring this overall opportunity or whatever the case might be, that brings you this happiness or this cause of celebration, because they're drawing my attention to the balloons on this card. So it does feel like there's something to celebrate, or there's going to be something that is unlocked for you, because there's also the keyhole right there on the egg, which is about new beginnings. So you're unlocking something here for sure. And it does feel very blessed, very lucky, very synchronistic. The hummingbird makes me think of synchronicity. And the sweet things of life. It's like the simple, sweet things of life. We did have simplicity here. So it's the little sweetnesses in life, focusing on those, really connecting to that energy that's going to help you to create this opportunity or this glow up for yourself. Now, I do also see the Five of Swords here being a little bit of complicated energy. Five of Swords is very much about like the ego, and we do see that in the movie Pretty Woman. There is some ego, that not necessarily from the two main characters, but from other people, their perceptions and judgments and prejudices against people of a different social status or social class, or what their life choices have been, and there can be these disagreements or these judgments that are cast. And so the Five of Swords here is kind of saying, just stay in your power. Don't worry about what other people are thinking about you. Just stay in your confidence. Focus on your happiness, because that's really what counts here. And that's what Vivian does in the movie. She's judged a lot. People stare at her. People give her the side eye. People they treat her poorly because of either how she dresses or what they know that she does. But she doesn't let that get to her. She doesn't let that get her down. She stands in her power, and she even kind of makes fun of it. She like kind of makes light of it. She's like, she plays into it a little bit to keep her power. Instead of feeling ashamed, she's like, well, if they're going to shame me, I might as well go all out. And that's really the energy of this playfulness that I get from her and from you, group number 1. That helps you stay in your power, in your abundance, and in your clarity and your authenticity and your truth. It's like, well, if you're not going to agree with me, then I'm just going to own it even harder. Like, screw what you think. I'm just going to do what feels right for me. So that is like a walking meditation. It's like a lifelong meditation, because you're so connected to your authentic expression. You don't even care what other people perceive you as, or how they choose to interpret you, because you are the only one who really knows you at that core level. And Temperance here sees that. The angel in Temperance is speaking to me of, it's like God knows your heart. The angels know your heart. You, your higher self, knows your heart. So remain happy there, and that's all that matters. Okay, let's take a look at some clarifiers, and then we'll get some letters as well. So for group number 1, these two. For group number 1, what else do they need to know in regard to this glow up, rags to riches, stepping into their abundance, possibly romance? Okay, that's all of them. You have the Fool. And we did see that with the egg there, very much about new beginnings. So this is heavily focused on a new beginning. And when we're looking at the movie and the themes in that movie, the archetypes, that's exactly what happens. Like, she's stuck in a rut, she's stuck in a bad situation, and she's then thrust into, pun unintended, she's thrust into, oh God, should I make this 18 plus? No. She's put into a situation that gives her this opportunity to start something new. And the Fool is also very innocent. Now, it's interesting because you also have the devil, La Diablo, or La Diable. So the devil card here is kind of that energy of judgment or prejudice, or the selling of the self as well, because she does sell herself to try and get by. And then even the main character, Richard Gere's character, again, I can't remember his name, but even Edward, thank you, Spirit. They just reminded me. Even Edward, it's like he is able to make a lot of money, yes, and he lives this very rich, luxurious lifestyle, but he's kind of beholden to it, and he does things that are not in alignment with his integrity. Like, he basically is a chop shop for businesses, and Vivian points that out and says, that's basically like a chop shop. You're just buying businesses that are on the way out, for a steal of a price, and then chopping them up and selling them off. And it's like, it sucks. So he knows that he doesn't like doing that, and that's why by the end of the movie he switches his approach, and he's actually then helping the person who he would have actually stolen that business from, or bought it out from underneath them in their time of need. So the devil here is talking about getting into your alignment with your authenticity to free yourself from the chains of any kind of slavery or enslavement, or anywhere that you're just giving up your power, really, again, because this whole reading for you, especially since you chose that power boot, it's like you're able to step into your power and free yourself from these patterns. The Fool is also about freedom. You have the 7 of Pentacles. This feels like frustration. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, from this card in particular, like the look on her face is just giving me frustration with her current circumstances. And they're calling me to the scene in the movie where Vivian is finding out that her roommate Kit has stolen the money for rent and used that, not stolen, but she took the money that was supposed to be set aside for rent and used it for drugs. And it's like frustration at not having enough money, frustration at other people or situation or circumstance that is preventing you from feeling this sense of abundance, where you're like, you know what, I don't lack for anything. I don't want for anything. I really have a sense of security. Or maybe you're frustrated because these things aren't showing up, even though you're working on manifesting, or you're working on trying to bring in this level of success. So the 7 of Pentacles here is saying, again, free yourself from that experience of limitation by focusing on playfulness, by focusing on being happy, by focusing on releasing any restrictions in regard to money or regard to your sense of self or what you're actually doing in your life. That's going to help you to free yourself again. And then you have 4 of Wands. I love this. So this is kind of speaking to the energy of union, connection. I'm getting the 1111 energy from it, which I haven't gotten from this card in a long time. So this is speaking to me of like soulmates coming together or twin flame union. It's really like these two halves of a whole coming together and creating this balance between them. And that's what we see in the movie Pretty Woman. It's like they're two sides of a personality. One is very rigid and stuck to his old ways, and one is very carefree, even a little bit too much so, and they just come together and they balance each other out, and they're like that yin and yang where they create that harmony. That's what I see with the Four of Wands. I also see this playfulness again coming in. So playfulness, being able to have fun and not take life or other people's judgments or projections too seriously. It's like, just let it go. It's not meant to be personal to you, you know, like people try to make it personal, but if you don't choose to take it personally, then it's not personal. It's a projection. And so you can just let that go and have fun with your life, because that's what it's really about. And we have the Three of Cups, which is also same thing. So very similar energy to the Four of Wands. It's like, have fun, celebrate, connect, enjoy your life, have a good time being with the people that you enjoy being around. And it is a very playful energy. So I love that it's coming up over top of playfulness. Now they are reminding me that we have temperance here as well. And temperance is about balance, moderation, and not going overboard. You know, it's like, don't do too much of a good thing because that can become a bad thing. Or don't do too much restriction because that can be a bad thing too. So it's really finding that happy middle ground, you know, the pendulum swinging too far one side, then too far the other, and finding your way to bring it back into the middle. This is really a great time for you to focus again on playfulness and socialization, getting out there, meeting people, connecting to people, celebrating, having fun, going to events. That's what I'm seeing here. So if you're looking for this glow up in regard to another person, it could be meeting someone at an event or some kind of a social gathering. I do see that if you're already in a relationship, then this is really just about you having a good time in that relationship, or having a good time on your own if you're single and not looking. So have fun doing what you're doing, be playful, create that happiness, because it's like, it's just going to get you out of this frustration energy and put you right back into the Empress, which is that perpetual state of abundance. Oh, and then the Six of Pentacles as well. So Six of Pentacles is like, you have more than enough to give. You're very generous. And that's very Edward's energy in the movie. Like, he's very generous because he has a lot. And so he doesn't really worry about not having enough. Like, that's not something he ever experienced, because he did grow up with a lot of money. You know, he even says in the movie, my first car was a limo. So it's like, he doesn't even understand the concept of lack. And so he's just very freely able to give his money, especially to people that he cares about. And especially since he hasn't really had anybody to care about in a long time. But then Vivian comes in and really gets him reconnected with that experience of joy and playfulness and fun, and just her pure essence of being reawakens that within him. It opens his heart. And then he's able to be very, very generous. So that's what I'm seeing here, is that by you being in your playful energy and your authenticity and staying happy and optimistic within yourself, you're able to connect to people in a completely different way. And by extension, it's like you awaken them and they awaken you. So I'm seeing a lot of balance and harmony and beautiful relationships here, really, overall. So now let's get some letters. So this is just a fun way to get additional information and to see if there are any other themes. All right. So for group number 1, okay, what is coming up? So I see the word mole, and this is making me think of a couple of different things. The first thing I thought of was like secrecy, or people kind of like spying. And in the movie, that's like Edward's lawyer / business partner, who's played by, I don't know his actual name, but it's George Costanza. I don't know the actor's name. I just know him as George from Seinfeld. So anyway, this is like that, somebody spying or somebody trying to pry into something that's not theirs. That could be that Five of Swords energy that we did see there. So just be on the lookout for anybody who's kind of trying to get up in your business, especially if you're trying to live a happy, successful life, or you're entering into a new relationship or something like that. Just kind of, you don't have to address it or do anything about it. Just continue being in your integrity, and I see this not being an issue. The other thing I'm seeing with mole is like authenticity. So they're showing me like Cindy Crawford in my mind, and it's like that iconic uniqueness about the mole that she has, and also Marilyn Monroe. So it's like this beauty standard almost. It's like a beauty mark. And I see this as you seeing your uniqueness as something that's beautiful about you. And that's very much in the movie as well. It's like Vivian or Julia Roberts is really beautiful, and she's very uniquely beautiful. Like some people would probably argue that she's not like classically beautiful, but I think she is. Yes, she has a wide mouth, and but she has red hair, but she's like, not that those are bad things, it's just they're unique, right? They're not like the classic standard of that blonde brunette, upturned nose, pouty, that kind of thing. And so I just see this uniqueness within her and within you, group number 1, that really gives you this sense of beauty that's very authentic and very specific to you. I see the word we, so there's a lot to do with connecting with other people and coming together with groups or with a partner. So instead of me, it's we. It's like, how can we mesh together? How can we harmonize within the group? And yeah, I'm seeing me as well. So me versus we. How does me become we, or how does me integrate with we? Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing low for some reason, and I saw that a couple of times, but I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's like a name, or I don't know. So it's not like low as in you're feeling low. It's more like low. So if you guys know what that word means, or I'll look it up and see if there's anything. But yeah. I'm seeing the word wet. So this makes me think of, maybe I should make this 18 plus. No, just kidding. So wet kind of feels to me like if you've been feeling like left out in the rain, let's look at it that way. If you've been feeling left out in the rain, it's like if you want to dance in the rain and just make it happy, get back to the simple pleasures of life. And even being stuck out in the rain can be something that can bring a lot of enjoyment to you. Okay, let's see what else. I'm seeing mute, so this could be about you speaking up, because we did have the King of Swords here and the Five of Swords as well. So it's like if you've had conflict in the past with other people and how they saw you, this could have prevented you from speaking up or being in your authentic self. So if you've been too quiet with yourself or not speaking up in these social situations or connections with other people, this could be an opportunity to do that. But it's just really about staying within your authenticity and being sure that you are happy within yourself, so that you can feel confident to speak up and not feel like you're alienating yourself or you're going to be judged. This could also be about like pressing the mute button on people who disagree with you or who are just looking to do an ego battle or to judge you. It's like there's no good that can come from that situation or conversation. So just kind of mute them out in your mind. Don't listen to them because it's not going to serve you or your power. It's really just like hone in and focus on what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, and simplify your life to that. That's what's going to breed success here for you. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. I do see the word toe, but then I also saw the word toll. So toe makes me think of like getting your feet on the grass and being able to get back to basics. And then toll is making me think of like a toll that you have to pay, or there's something that it's like to get where you want to go, you have to invest some kind of money. So let me just kind of feel into that and see what this is about. Oh, that's the lack mentality. That's the devil energy. It's like you have to pay the toll to get to this next level. You have to sacrifice something, and that's just not true. Because if you stick to your guns, if you stay in your integrity and you do what's right for you, and you do it with a smile on your face, and you truly believe authentically in your power, this toll just melts away. It's not even there. It's not even like a thing. You don't have to worry about it, because I see this as something that you can transcend. It's something that you can just move right past, because it's like, say for example, let's say because the example they're showing me is like waiting in line for something and then having to pay to get in. It's like if you're in your authentic power and you're just experiencing the joy and happiness of life, it's like people pick up on that, and all of a sudden you get this offer to just go in. It's like you get to skip the line, or you don't have to pay. And it's not like a privilege or it's not like an imbalanced or unfair thing. It's just that you are wanted there, or it's like you are going to be a benefit there because that's the energy that's wanted in that group of people or in that room or in that area. And so you're going to get that access granted to you without having to pay the toll or wait in line, because you're in your power and you just become magnetic. You just become attractive. And it's like, it's not that it's unfair because you're like skipping the line. It's more like you did the work on the back end instead. So instead of doing the work by waiting in line and paying the toll, you did the work by consciously, intentionally focusing on your joy and staying and practicing staying in that energy, which is hard to do. It's very hard to do. Life as a human is full of ups and downs, and there are things that restrict us. There are practical things that make it hard. And so it is a challenge to stay simple, to stay in your happiness, to stay in your playfulness and joy, and to keep your heart open in that way. So it's like, that's the reward that you get, is that by staying in that energy, you end up having those opportunities present themselves to you in that way. And it's fair because you've done the work, and that's the reward. That's the outcome. Cause and effect. Oh, so funny. I'm seeing emu. Emu makes me think of emu oil. And emu oil is quite expensive if you've ever used it. It's like a face oil, and or it's an oil for your skin. It's not made from emus. I think it's just called emu oil. But it's like very, very luxurious. It's extremely hydrating. So this is like focusing on hydrating yourself with that happiness, joy, and maybe even physically, like maybe doing some facials or focusing on that abundance, because the Empress energy is very, very abundant, and emu oil is abundant. So it's like invest in these very luxurious types of creams or perfumes or something that just gives you that sense of wealth and happiness and joy, and it makes you feel luxurious, because then every time that you use it, you're going to feel like excuse my French, but this is coming into my head, you're going to feel like a boss bitch, or you're going to feel like an empress, or you're going to feel like an emperor or a king, whatever gender or orientation you happen to be. So it's like, you're just going to feel abundant. You're just going to feel good. And so investing in yourself in that way, maybe that's like some kind of a small toll, right? But like, it's not a toll because you want to invest in that. It's actually an investment. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. I know we don't have an S, but this is making me think of Muse. And I do feel like in the movie, Vivian does become Edward's muse because she inspires him. She re-inspires him to connect to his heart. She re-inspires him to connect to his business in a new way. He changes his tactics, and it's like that inspiration. So again, it's like, if you are in your authentic energy, you become an inspiration for others, whether you realize it or not. Some people that's going to trigger, but the people who are ready for that inspiration, it's going to unlock within them something that they've been missing. And so they're really going to feel grateful to you. They're really going to want to shower you with that praise or that adoration or that reward, because you've helped them without even really doing anything. You're just being yourself, but you've helped them. This is really beautiful energy, and I'm getting shivers from that. So that's really important for you to know. Tool is making me think of like a ball gown. So again, we have this theme of like, treat yourself like a princess or treat yourself like a prince. Put yourself in a position where you feel lavish, where you feel, and it doesn't have to be extravagant. It can be simple, but it's just like these little simple things. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you don't need to fly on a private jet. Maybe you just need to buy yourself a cute little dress or something that brings you joy and that makes you feel good and makes you feel abundant and wealthy, and enjoy that energy. It's like, it doesn't have to be extravagant. It can be something that represents that. That's what it is. I'm seeing mow. So it's like, don't let people mow you down. If you're growing and growing and growing and you're enjoying yourself, don't let people come in with that weed whacker and whack at you. Don't let people, not that you're a weed, like you're a beautiful flower, but people sometimes they will see that and go, oh, that's a weed. No, it's not. It's a beautiful flower, and it's there to be enjoyed. It's there to provide that sense of abundance and inspiration. But not everyone can see that beauty because they're stuck in their own dissatisfaction or lack. I also see this as like a harvest or something like that. So they're showing me like a scythe, like you're able to harvest, and there's a bunch of wheat in the Empress card. So it's kind of like you're harvesting something that you have grown in the past. And this is coming from your happiness. It's coming from your own sense of inner abundance. That's what's going to create this harvest, or this opportunity for you to have more. Okay. Let this happen. I also see loot. Loot makes me think of just like, like a fancy place where it's like in ancient times where this minstrel is playing the lute for you as a princess, and you're just like relaxed on a chaise lounge. It's very, very abundant. And so I just get this sense of like, it also makes me think of inspiration. Minstrels make me think of like songwriting and romanticism and being able to express the emotional and joy and playfulness of life. So I get all of those from this energy. And this could even be something that, like, if you're being called to connect to music, if that is what brings you happiness and joy, that could be a simple pleasure that's going to help to raise your frequency and get you into this energy of this glow up, of this abundance, of this connection, romantic partner, if this is something that you're wanting. So it's like there's romance here, there's beauty, there's enjoyment, there's luxury here for you if you can stay in that energy and then reap the rewards of that. So that is what I see for you, group number 1. I hope that you enjoyed the reading and that this helped you in connecting back to your own inner pretty woman or pretty man or whoever you want to be, and allowing yourself to step into this luxury of life through the simplicity of joy. So that is what I see for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was such a pleasure to do this reading, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 2. If you chose the shopping bags, welcome to your Pretty Woman reading. So this is going to be about your glow up, your rags to riches, your authenticity, opening your heart, and being able to connect to either the abundance of life or even to other people through that authentic connection. So let's take a look at your cards. I have some tarot and oracle here. So we're going to just do the tarot after. We're going to look at the oracle first. You have the Fates. Okay, so very much about destiny here. It does feel like there's something to do with, I'm also getting like the star card energy here for whatever reason. Maybe because they have the stars, because I don't even think it is number 17. I think it's number 18. Anyway, you have a yes. Definitely some star quality that I'm seeing here, and it's fated. It's like a big yes from the universe. Everything is in alignment and balance. Wow, okay. Whoa, you also have a no. Okay, I definitely want to get more information on these. And as soon as we had the no come out, it's like I've got a frog in my throat. Healing family issues, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Okay, this is a really interesting reading. And you have exercise, run, walk, swim, or otherwise move your body. This will give you more energy and happiness. Okay, I do want to look at your tarot cards right away just because there's so many different messages here. Like, look at all this contradiction. So let's see what we can see. You have the 4 of Wands. Group number 1 had this from a different deck as well. 4 of Wands here makes me think of celebration, success. It's like something that is going right. Even if you got a no, it's like now you get a yes. The 7 of Cups. I like this for you. I'm not going to read too much into that yet. I'm going to wait. You have the 8 of Pentacles. Okay. I feel like this wants to sit over here. And then you have the King of Cups. Okay. So this could be related to a father. This could be related to a man or a male energy, masculine energy, who wants to heal you or help you to heal yourself. It's kind of what I'm getting from that. 7 of Cups is making me think of like you've got so many options on the table and that you might be confused about which one to choose. You might have many different kind of directions that you could go, but fate is calling you specifically here. Like there's something about this that's fated. There's something about this that's meant to happen, and it's meant to happen in a very specific way. So I do see that it's like your glow up is destined here. You're meant to be in a position of power. You're meant to be in a position of freedom as well, because they're showing me the shopping bags in my mind's eye, and it makes me think of freedom and abundance. It's like you're able to just go into any store and not look at the price tag, and you're able to just say, I like this, I want that, I like this, I want that. And they're playing in my head the Ariana Grande song 7 Rings. I want it, I got it. I want it, I got it. So it's like you're able to look at all these options and say, you know what, I don't want that, so I'm going to say no to that. I do want this, so I'm going to say a big yes to that. So that's what I'm getting from the yes, no. It's not like the universe is telling you no. It's like you're fated to be able to say an emphatic yes or a big no to things that you don't want. And so you're able to choose very, very directly and be in a very involved, like an involved process of creating or cultivating your life, or curating. That's the word I was looking for. You're curating your life because you're able to very specifically pick and choose what you do want more of and what you want less of, or what you don't want at all. Now, when it comes to these family issues, that's kind of where I was picking up with the King of Pentacles, it's so weird I said King of Pentacles, with the King of Cups, because the King of Pentacles is like the father archetype. I always kind of see the King of Pentacles as the father. The King of Cups here, it doesn't always signify that to me, but because we have the family issues card, this does speak to me of emotional healing in regard to the masculine energy. And the masculine energy is very direct, and it's able to provide and protect. And specifically in the theme of this reading, Pretty Woman, when we're looking at the masculine archetype, it's like Edward, who in the movie becomes a protector or a savior for Vivian. And so it's like this open-hearted compassion kind of gets him out of his own way so that he can start saying yes to things in life that he had previously said no to, and so that he can connect and heal his heart through love and this authentic connection with his with this soulmate, with this other person. Now, healing this family issue, it could be in regard to a home environment from childhood, because that's what for whatever reason, what I'm seeing with the Four of Wands here. So this could be like you stepping into your healing by just addressing some of these things from childhood that maybe you didn't have the option to say yes or no. Maybe you were told what you needed to focus on, and maybe this King of Cups energy was not as compassionate as they could have been. Like maybe the father was not in this King of Cups energy, and that's why you're looking for somebody who does embody this King of Cups, which is very compassionate, very open, very emotionally authentic, and able to say, I honor your choices, whatever you want. It's very, very compassionate and open-hearted. Now, the Eight of Pentacles here and exercise is making me think of like putting in the work. So there are some things that you do need to do here. Maybe you need to practice saying yes or no. Maybe you need to practice setting boundaries, or practice standing up for what you want, or practice being a little bit more picky is the word that I'm feeling. It's like, not picky quite as much, but actually more particular. So learning to be a little bit more particular and saying, yes, I do want this, no, I don't want that, so that you can become a bit more decisive, or feel like you can trust your intuition to guide you in the moment to say yes or no without having to really think about it. The Eight of Pentacles and exercise here is also feeling to me like you need to, it just feels like focusing on, or practicing focusing on building what you want to build. This could even be working, because, even in the movie, Vivian is like a working girl, quote unquote. And so she puts in the work to get by. Like she does what she needs to do to create a living for herself, even if it's not the best. And so does Edward. But when they come together, when they unite in harmony, when they open each other's hearts in this way, and they trust each other. Trust is a big thing here for whatever reason in your reading, because as soon as I said the word trust, I got big full body shivers. So trusting yourself and trusting another person and being able to come together in that way is not only going to help you to heal your heart of any family issues in regard to the father or maybe the mother, but because we have the King of Cups, I'm leaning more towards the father. But also it's going to help you to interact with your work in a different way. It's like you're not going to disempower yourself through that work environment anymore, where you're feeling like a slave to your 9 to 5, or you're feeling like a slave to your clients, or you're feeling like a slave to money in general. It's like you're not going to sell yourself for that. You're going to be focusing on being more discriminating and discerning and focusing on what it is that you do want. And again, this is fated. This is meant to be something that you focus on in this lifetime. There's an aspect of this that is very much destined to happen. Part of that is healing, because I'm still getting the star card energy from this card. And the star is really about like a period of respite and healing after something that was challenging or difficult. So there's a lot to do with healing in your reading. Healing your heart, healing your soul, healing your connections with other people, healing your connection with your intuition and your self-confidence, your self-esteem. Because when I think of making decisions and being decisive and picky, you do have to have a really good sense of self-worth and self-esteem to say no to things that you don't want, to not accept that, or to say to yourself, I deserve better. And that's what I'm getting from this as well, because in the movie, Vivian, at the end, Edward is offering to her to like put her up in an apartment of her own. But then she says, no, I want more. She's like, I want the whole thing. I want the Prince Charming. I want the castle in the sky, and I'm not going to settle for less. So I'm not even going to take your money that you promised me, because she's in her integrity and she's sticking to her guns. She's sticking to her truth. Even though he provided all of these things for her, she's like, yeah, that's great, but I want the romantic, I want the happily ever after. I want my dream to come true. She knows, even though she's been selling herself for less but to get by, her core self is strong, and she knows and values herself, even though she's been devalued time and time again by other people and by circumstance. But she doesn't let that get into her. She doesn't let that devalue her own sense of worth. And so she doesn't accept less. And so I see this for you as well. It's like you're being made to heal these things in a very fated and direct way, so that you can get reconnected to your sense of worth and be able to be more discriminatory and demand that your dreams be created by you, that you are able to work on those things and feel like they are possible, and not only possible, but they are fated or destined for you. And so you're not going to settle for less. And you shouldn't settle for less, because you are a creator and you're a divine being. You can create whatever you want. You just have to be in the right energy frequency to do that. And that's why healing these family issues or healing the core wound here is going to be very helpful, because then it puts you in a position of high frequency exuberance and celebration and achievement. I see you like crossing some kind of a finish line here and getting to the end of a destination. I'm seeing somebody like crossing the end of, like where they have the ribbon at the end of like a marathon. I'm seeing you crossing that finish line at the end of this marathon, and you're like, yes, I did it. I got through all the confusion. I got through all of the no's. I got through by saying no to things that were going to distract me. I stayed focused. I worked. It's funny that we have the exercise card. They're reminding me, I forgot about exercise, and we're talking about marathons here. So it's a workout for you to do this, and even shopping. When I think of shopping, it's kind of a bit of a workout. Like, you have to have a lot of energy. It takes a lot to walk around all day. You're carrying bags. So it's like something about physical strength here as well. It's like the more physically strong you are, the more emotionally strong you'll feel. So there's a correlation between those two for you, group number 2. Okay, let's get some clarifiers. So what else does group number 2 need to know about this glow up or this authenticity, this love? Okay. You have some cards here. You have the 9 of Swords. First thing that I'm noticing is the 9 of Swords here. And this is stress or worry. I feel like there's negative thoughts, negative thought forms that you need to clear away. This could be related to these family issues. Maybe again, you weren't given the go ahead to choose for yourself. You were just told what you were going to get, and you were like made to just feel like you needed to accept that. Or maybe you just weren't prioritized or something like that. But I do see they're drawing my attention to the Virgo sign here on the blanket. And it feels like, so getting organized with your thoughts and doing this healing. Virgo does speak of healing. So this could even be physical healing, like I said. but emotional healing is part of that, and the mental aspect will come along with it. You also have the Emperor, so I feel like there's definitely an energy of power here that's meant to be embraced for you so that you can step into that yes or no energy and be more decisive. The Emperor is like the final say in any decision, right? He's the ruler of the empire, so he's the final say in what does or does not happen, or what is allowed and what is not allowed. So having these very, very firm boundaries and being very particular, I'm seeing that helping you to get out of this stress or worry around what you should do or not do. It's like you're better able to just trust your judgment and to act decisively, because that's what the Queen of Swords is all about. She's very much a decisive. I just heard risk taker as well, which is not something that I normally associate with the Queen of Swords. So that's interesting. But for whatever reason in this reading, in this card, she's coming up as a bit of a risk taker. And I do see that with the movie, with Pretty Woman, like they're both taking a risk. Edward's taking a risk on Vivian, like he's bringing somebody into this fancy hotel and kind of like exposing himself in that way, because everybody knows what's going on. Like he's taking a bit of a risk. He's doing something that he normally wouldn't do. And Vivian is too. Like she's getting into a car with a strange man who, yes, he has a nice car and yes, he's rich, but it's like still it's a risk to put yourself in that kind of a situation. But I do feel like it worked out for them because they trusted their intuition, they trusted their gut, and they stayed within their power. And so even they're drawing my attention to the scene where Edward pulls over to ask for directions. He's not even looking for a date. He's just asking for directions. And Vivian's like, it'll cost you. And he's like, what, for directions? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, but wait, I can't remember what he says. But anyway, she's just kind of like, well, I'm not the one who's lost. It's like she's very bold and blunt and direct, and she's authentic. Like she's not going to beat around the bush, and she knows her worth. So it's like if you've got money and I don't, and I've got something that you want, like pay me for it. She knows her value and she's going to demand that. So it's like she's taking a bit of a risk by doing that, but it worked out for her in the long run, because instead of just giving him directions for $5, she ends up with her dream life. And so it's like you have to stand up for what you believe in. You have to be able to say no to what doesn't serve you and say yes, an emphatic yes with that exclamation mark, to things that do. So you're actively saying, I want this and I don't want that. So if you don't want something, you don't buy it. You don't spend your money on it, i.e. you don't spend your mental energy on it. You don't expend your emotional energy on it. Instead, you invest, vote with your money. You vote with your money in this sense, and your energy is your money, guys. So vote with your money, vote with your energy by saying, I don't want this, so I'm not going to pay attention to that, or I do want this, so I'm going to invest more time, energy, emotion, or action into it. Take that risk. It's not even really a risk. You have the Magician. Yeah, you're a manifester. This is fated. You are very, very strong at manifesting. So it's like if you stay in that energy of decision and being very particular and having those boundaries in place, like knowing what will and doesn't work for you and being very strong in that, it's like you're able to manifest a whole lot of opportunities that are definitely destined for you. And you have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, so definitely a manifesting energy here. You are super strong in your ability to take action and to make progress, and you're able to really exercise your divine creatorship is what I just heard. So you're able to exercise your divine creatorship. You're able to move towards your goals with a sense of clarity and direction, and taking some calculated risks as necessary, because that's what puts you in the position to, first of all, be in your own power and trust yourself. And second of all, to put yourself into the physical position to receive the manifested results of this fated connection or this fated opportunity or whatever it is. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so now let's get some letters. So this is just a fun way for us to get some additional information, words, initials, names, like whatever happens to come up. So let's take a look for group number 2. What else do they need to know? I feel like there was one more that I missed, and they had me grab 2 more just to be safe. Okay, so I'm seeing quill right off the bat. So this could be about like writing it down. I know we're missing an L here, but yeah, I like to like kind of fill in the gap. So anyway, quill kind of speaks to me of Oh, they're showing me someone signing a contract with a quill, like an old-fashioned parchment paper, and it's like almost like in Ariel when she signs the contract with Ursula, or in The Little Mermaid, and she signs it with that feathered quill or that like fish quill. Anyway, it seems to me like a contract, and that's what fate is. It's a contract. So destiny, fate are just soul level contracts that you've created. And sometimes they're positive, sometimes they're negative, but they always lead you into your growth. So overall, they're always positive. But what I'm seeing here for you is like you're signing contracts in this lifetime by choosing to do things or not do things. So you're able to say yes or no. You're able to step into your power. You're able to free yourself, I just heard. You're able to free yourself from contracts that were limiting. These could be generational patterns within your family unit. These could be like emotional wounds that kept you stuck, that prevented you from feeling like you could cross the finish line or be successful or create abundance for yourself. It's like maybe it's like a lack imprint in your generational line. So like say your father was very bad with money, or your mother was stuck in a position of lack or something like that, and it goes back and back and back. And it's like family money issues. And it's like you signed that contract on some level to be able to break it, to be able to free yourself from it at soul level, to conquer it. And that's the Emperor. It's like you're conquering it and you're coming out the other side free. And now you're able to just create your own contracts. It's like you can write your own destiny. Ooh, that's fun. Okay. For whatever reason, I'm seeing the word walk. Walk is making me think of like stir frying something up. It's like you're able to make it you're able to make something taste good. It's like you're able to stir all of these different ingredients together, which is very much that Seven of Cups energy. It's like all of these different ingredients in the cups. And you're able to say, I don't want oregano in there because that doesn't go. And I don't want this in there because that doesn't go. But I do want more of the carrots, and I do want more of the thyme, or whatever it is. You know, it's like the ingredients of your life. You're able to very decisively create or curate or like make a dish of your life. And you're mixing it all together in this walk, this proverbial walk. Okay. Seeing the word soul. So this makes me think of the soul. Again, it's like these soul contracts, but I also see this as like the sun, like le soleil. And so it feels like you are connecting to this higher power within you. And that higher power is like this awareness of how to free yourself from these patterns. It's also about healing. The sun speaks of healing because they just drew me back to the star again. And the sun, obviously we know, is a star. And the star is about healing, and the sun promotes healing and growth. So I feel like you're able to heal, to free yourself, to create your own destiny, to create your own reality. You are a free agent. I just heard you're a free agent. You may have already freed yourself from this, and that's why you were drawn to this reading, because we're talking about you creating this rags to riches story for yourself. So you may have already started to break or have broken that old karmic pattern or that old contract of lack or limitation or indecisiveness, not trusting yourself and not being in your power. Okay. I'm seeing two things here. I just got the word quilt. Again, I'm filling in the blanks here, but quilt makes me think of sewing things together. So again, it's like the stir fry, like you're bringing things together. You're creating very decisively, very directly, almost artistically, this thing that is going to comfort you. Because when I think of a stir fry, it's like comfort food. And when I think of a quilt, it's like comfort, luxury, warmth. And it's all like homemade. It's like you're making this for yourself. You're like a self-made man or woman. You know what I mean? And so you are able to do this for yourself. And you're able to say, like this, so this is what I want. You're able to say like, this is what I want. This is what I don't want. And this is why. I also saw, quit. When I saw this one together, I was seeing quit. So this could be about like quitting things that don't serve you, quitting a job that makes you feel like you're selling yourself, because that's kind of what the Pretty Woman movie is about, right? It's like doing jobs that make you feel like you're a slave. For Edward, it was being in a line of work where he was kind of out of his integrity. And like, yes, he made millions of dollars, but he was doing something that harmed other people. He was buying businesses in their, their darkest days and then completely dismantling them. Those are people's like hard work that they built up, and then he would just dismantle it for his own profit and for his company's profit. And he did it because he just didn't really have a sense of connection to those people, even though he maybe felt it was wrong. But then Vivian comes in and opens his heart, and then he realizes that he doesn't want to do that anymore because it's out of integrity. So he goes and he clears that contract. If that was a contract, he doesn't sign the contract to buy up the company. And at soul level, he doesn't continue that contract of disempowerment through work. So I do see you kind of quitting a job, or even just like changing the way you approach your work or your habits or something like that. It's like you're quitting old ways of doing things that kept you stuck and disempowered and out of integrity, and you're stepping into really creating an artistic vision for your life that feels very, very fated and, again, very, very healing. I'm seeing the word wise, so it's like you're very wise to be able to do this. It took you a lot of practice, a lot of learning with the Eight of Pentacles here. It's like you had to go through a lot to discover what did and didn't work, and like you had to make a lot of adjustments to your way of doing things, because they're showing me here it's like you made a lot of mistakes. There were a lot of like faulty coins that you were trying to make here, but because you did that, because you did a lot of trial and error and you practiced and failed, you were able to create a lot of mastership here, because that's what I'm feeling from the Eight of Pentacles is mastership. And that made you very wise, so that you now know what does and doesn't work for you. It's like through process of elimination, you were able to better hone your skill, your mastery, and your sense of self-worth, and then by extension what you will and will not accept. This is making me think of loot, because there is a T on the other side of this O. So it's like there's loot here for you to be gained. There's money. That Eight of Pentacles is like a very money work focused card. So I do feel like there's something that's kind of being provided for you as you step more into this wisdom, as you break this contract, as you focus on your healing, you pass that finish line and you get the award, or you get that loot at the end of it. I'm also seeing look. So like look for opportunities, look for new directions, be willing to take some calculated risks here, especially as those relate back to your wisdom and your experience, and being able to be very, very discerning. It's like, again, that look energy is like, look at all of your options, be very discerning about what you're choosing and what you're not choosing, because that's going to help you to glow up in this way. It's going to help you to step into abundance and empowerment. It's going to help you to exercise your free will, is what I just heard. Exercising your free will, because you're saying yes to this and no to that. And don't be afraid of like closing down your options, because the Seven of Cups can speak of like you're afraid to make a decisive decision or to choose one thing, because then it's like if you choose the carrots, then all of these other options go away. So that might feel like a loss, but it's not, because as you choose the carrots, you get to then choose other things in regard to that or in connection to that. And you get to see if those choices or that choice was a good one. And if it's not, then you're going to have another set of choices that you can better determine what's going to work for you. So for you, this is all about your free will. It's all about your choice. It's all about discernment and self-creation. It's very, very fated for you. This is like a major soul level process that's going on, and it's meant to help you gain wisdom. It's meant to help you to see things more clearly and to see your self-worth clearly as well. Okay. Oh my God, I see acquit as well. So for whatever reason, that's making me think of like you're being acquitted from something. I think that means that I think acquittal is like you're found not guilty or something like that. Let me just look that up really quick. Yeah, so acquit does mean it's like being found not guilty or being freed from a criminal charge. So I feel like you're breaking some contracts here. You're freeing yourself from a charge that is not aligned with you anymore. It's like you're not guilty, you're innocent. You didn't do anything to start these family issues. You just incarnated into this line. At soul level, you did that for a reason, but you're meant to be breaking those contracts to free yourself from limitation, lack, indecisiveness, or self-worth issues, so that you can see things a lot more clearly and then be very decisive and consciously through your free will create your destined reality. Ooh, wow. All right, group number 2. I'm just going to leave it there, because I think we just ended on a really high note. So I just won't continue. I'll just, I'm just mic drop and then walk out of the room. So that's what I see for you, group 2. So much abundance for you coming in as you break these contracts, heal yourself, cross the finish line, be very decisive, cultivate and create your life intentionally. It's like, wow. lots of opportunity that I see here for you. So I really hope that you enjoyed this reading, that it resonated with you. And if you want to see more of these pop culture pick a card / pick a picture readings, then stick around, subscribe to my channel over here at Tarot and Beyond. We'd be happy to have you. So I will see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 3. If you chose this beautiful red dress, welcome to your Pretty Woman reading. So we're going to be looking at themes of glow up, rags to riches, authenticity, self-worth, self-perception, all of those things. So let's take a look at your cards. We have some Oracle and some Tarot. So we're going to start with the Oracle. You have a definitely yes. This has been coming up in so many readings. Like if you've been watching several of my readings, you'll probably have seen this card. It's like haunting the readings lately. Whenever that happens, if there's like a haunting card or a card that just keeps making itself known, there's a significant message, or it's like a part of a major part of a theme or cycle in life. So if you've seen this more than once, if you've seen many readings and this has come up specifically in the ones you've chosen, this is like the spirit's way of telling you definitely yes. Like something is a definite yes, and you need to trust yourself there. So the answer to your question is a strong yes, very strong yes. Okay. You also have pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Spirit is speaking to you really clearly. I also like that it's like red flags and you chose the red dress. We'll find out what that means. You have recovery. Okay, so there may be something to do with resting. There's something better. Okay. You're definitely being directed here very clearly. And you have higher power. Yeah, you're being directed by a higher power. You can't make this stuff up. I just love it. So, okay. Let's take a look at your tarot cards before I start reading into these. You have the 3 of Swords. Okay. So this is why the red flags are there. This is why the signs are cautioning you and you're getting a lot of guidance because you're in recovery from some kind of a heartache. Okay, you have the Hermit. Maybe you've been spending a lot of time on your own to recover from this. It could be a physical recovery or it could be an emotional recovery or both. You have the Judgment card. You're definitely being guided by the angels, by your spirit guides. You are getting a lot of support here. I'm seeing that from like every single angle. It's like you're getting a lot of guidance, a lot of support. They are making themselves known very, very clearly to you. If you don't work with them, quite as consciously, they're letting you know that they're there. And you have the Queen of Swords. They're communicating very clearly to you. All right, so the energy that I'm getting is like from the red dress, because that's what they're showing me in my mind's eye. It's making me think of the fairy godmother and Cinderella, bringing her this beautiful new dress. So I'm getting this feeling of like your spirit guides. So instead of approaching this reading the way that I did the other two, because the energies were very different, for you guys, it's much more of like this angelic support or this spirit guide assistance that is bringing you a lot of clarity through healing, and you're going through some kind of a rebirth. This is definitely a yes. Like you're meant to be doing this. You're meant to be focusing on healing your heart, especially in regard to relationships. If you were in relationships in the past where you ignored those red flags or where you didn't listen to your heart and it got you into situations that kind of left you out in the cold, because they're showing me the Hermit shivering. It's like you didn't have your needs met, or you weren't comforted or warmed by this love. It's like you felt isolated or alone or solitary, even if you were in a relationship. This is where this heartache has come in and needs to be healed or addressed. And it's like they're blowing the trumpet, like they're trying to wake you up to this. They're trying to speak really loudly in your ear. They're showing me a megaphone. It's like their megaphone yelling at you because there's something that you're not listening to. It's like there's something in your intuition that is saying this is not for you, but you're doing it anyway. So let me get some clarity on that. Let's pull some additional cards because this is a very different message than the other two readings. The 9 of Swords. Okay. The 9 of Swords here, it did come up in, I think it was group number 2. Anyway, the 9 of Swords here is making me think of your own thoughts. It's like they're clouded and you're not seeing something clearly. And that's why your spirit guides are trying to come in to talk to you. And they're trying to show you messages. They're trying to show you signs, but you're not seeing it for whatever reason. Because what they're showing me is in this card here, the angel or the spirit guide is trying to bring a message to this person, but she's not looking at it. It's like she's opened up a little bit more than she maybe has in the past, but she's still not looking in the direction of the sign or recognizing that it's there. And she's certainly not recognizing that it's coming from these angels or guides. So they're making it very clear to you, like they are yelling at you, basically, not in a negative way, but they're just really trying to get your attention here to let you know that something needs your awareness. It needs you to address it. And it's like they're trying to protect you, or they're trying to keep you out of a situation that could be detrimental for you. So again, I want to find more information on this, especially in regard to, because we're talking about a pretty woman archetype here and like this glow up. So you might be going down the path where you're feeling disempowered, and as though this fairy godmother, this knight in shining armor, or this even like personal empowerment and self-worth is not going to happen. You might be stuck in like negative, I heard, what's it called? Spirit, can you say that again? Cataclysmic thinking is what they just said, but I think this is like the technical term is catastrophizing. Catastrophizing, like you're focusing so much on the negative or what could go wrong, and that's actually preventing you from seeing the things that are going wrong, ironically, because when you're so focused on what could go wrong, you're not seeing the things that are not working in your current reality, because you're just, it's kind of like, it's a signature match, and so you don't notice them quite as much. Whereas if you were in what could go right, then you would see what goes wrong or what's not in alignment with that very clearly, because it's a completely different signature, energetic signature to what you've been focusing on or embodying. This is crazy. Okay, let me just select a few cards here in regard to group number 3 and what this message is and what they're needing to heed in regard to this. Yeah, okay. In regard to this guidance, what is this? The devil. Yeah, it's like disempowerment, red flags that you're ignoring, where especially when we're looking at Pretty Woman, the themes of the devil came up in self-limitation and lack, feeling stuck, feeling like you've hit rock bottom, that there's nowhere to go from there, that you have to sell yourself, or you have to put yourself into a position of sacrifice or slavery to be able to get by, or to compromise your integrity to be able to have the wealth that you desire. So it's like they're saying, pay attention to these red flags, because there's some sort of deception here that's going on that you're meant to realize. And they're showing me the red dress is almost like glamour magic. So glamour magic is like when you make something look better than it is. It's like not all that glitters is gold. And they're showing me the fairy godmother from Cinderella. And it's funny because Pretty Woman and Cinderella are kind of the same story, right? It's like it's archetypally very similar story. And they even mention Cinderella in Pretty Woman. She's like, who else has this ever worked for? Give me a name. And she's like, a name. Now you're putting me on the spot. And then she's like, Cinder-fucking-rella. So this is like very much your fairy godmothers or your spirit guides are trying to give you the truth of a situation. But what you're seeing is actually the distorted temporary version of it. So you're seeing like that glamour magic or that temporary beauty, but it goes away at midnight. And it's like, so if somebody's been showing you, oh yeah, like if they've been saying, I love you and I care about you, but then all of a sudden they're behaving in a very different way than what they've said. This is kind of what I'm seeing here. And this may be past energy, maybe present as well. Let's keep going. You have the Hanged Man. So you do feel stuck here, stuck in a position where you're not seeing things clearly because they're upside down. They're upside down, so you're not seeing them very clearly right now. There's a little bird here on his leg letting him know, like, hey, you're upside down. You're not seeing it clearly. That's your spirit guides. They're very much trying to bring you out of this distortion. You may have negative thought forms going on, guys. I deal with a lot of negative thought forms for clients, and even for myself, they're super common. So negative thought forms are when we concentrate on a thought that has some resonance for us, whether it's because we fear it or because we believe it on some level or because we've experienced it in some way, and we hold that energetic connection to it. And even if the thought is neutral or the thought is not true, if we keep feeding energy to it, we keep believing it, or we keep acting as if it is true, it starts to take on form. And when something has form, it attracts magnetically more of itself to it. So negative thought forms create and attract more situations that confirm that thought is quote unquote true, but it's not. And that's what you're not seeing. That's what these red flags and these signs are trying to tell you, is that you are not seeing this clearly, and you have to choose your truth, not look at what is true for you. It's like, it's not about what is, it's what could be. Because as a divine creator, you're meant to step into your power. There's definitely something better here, and you need to recover so that you can actually start to see that. You need to take some time out, because the Hanged Man and the Hermit are both very solitary, isolated, temporarily unmoving type of energies. So if you've been constantly trying to do and go and continuing to come up short or not having enough, or feel like things aren't working out for you, if you keep hitting up against brick walls, stop for a minute. Just stop and take some time out. Maybe you actually need to take some time off so that you can connect to yourself and start to see things clearly again, and listen to these guides, because this higher power is trying to speak real loud to you. Group number 3. The 3 of Cups, they're trying to help you out here. 3 of Cups is like connection, reunion, community. Your spirit community is so loud and proud here. It's like they're trying to get your attention so that you can see that something's not aligned here. Something's out of whack. And to get yourself back into alignment, you are going to need to realize the deception. You're going to need to realize where this distortion is coming from, and it may be internal. It may be the heart. It may be the mind as well, because the swords are about the mind, and you do have 9 and 3 of Swords. So this is like your mental, your thoughts, your beliefs, your, what you're choosing to focus on mentally. You have another 3 of Pentacles, so 3 of Cups, and the 3 of Pentacles. Again, this is speaking to me of collaboration. So working with your guides, being more direct in your communication with them, because it is coming up right over the Queen of Swords. So being able to connect to a higher power, ask for guidance, and then pay attention to what you get in return, and don't doubt that, right? Like if you ask, is this a yes or no? And then you get a clear yes, but then you keep acting as if it's a no. That's going to put you in this lack and this disempowerment, because you're not listening to the signs. You're not heeding the guidance. It's important that you prioritize setting aside time so that you can tune in and hear these things or see these things. It's going to help with your recovery, and it's going to help to put you in a position of power, because the red dress does make me think of power and beauty and elegance and form. It's very eye-catching, and red is the root chakra. So it's very much about our sense of power and lust and security and strength. So I do see you coming out of this disempowered energy of that and the distortion, or not seeing your own strength clearly, so that you can see and access your true strength. You have the 5 of Swords. So something here has been definitely out of whack, especially as it relates to other people. I think number 1 or group 1 had the 5 of Swords as well from a different deck. And then you have the Queen of Cups. You have 2 queens here. You're meant to be in your power. You're meant to see and feel things clearly. You're meant to trust your intuition. But for whatever reason, you've had a hard time with that. And it's just been like a pattern. I feel like it's been a pattern of you kind of doubting what that guidance is that's coming in, and doubting the situations, because you're being distorted by your own mind and your own creation of these negative thought forms. Or even, dare I say, there can also be independent negative thought forms. So negative thought forms are dependent on us to continue to feed energy to create and sustain their life and their form. Whereas independent negative thought forms are actually, they're not dependent on us to exist. They exist in and of themselves. They're like energetic archetypal entities in the 4th dimensional realm. So the astral realm, usually the lower astral if we're talking about negative ones. And these are like basically tulpas. It is like the other colloquial term for it. Tulpa, or traditional term, is a tulpa. So it's something that we've created collectively by focusing a lot of energy on it. And positive expressions of tulpas are like the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, unicorns. Although unicorns do exist on their own in higher dimensions as well. But negative tulpas are like energetic thought forms that you're connecting to because you're in that energy, and then they start to run programs. So if you feel like this is resonating with you and this is speaking directly to you, and your spirit guides are saying you need to clear this, or you need to cut this out, there's 2 things you can do. Number 1, you can sit down and meditate with this and allow your guides to direct you to what needs to be done, and do this very, very intuitively and self-focused. If you do need help, I do this for a living. So I do soul realignment readings to see what karmic patterns are there. We look at not negative thought forms. We look at independent negative thought forms too, and all sorts of other karmic patterns and distortions, blocks, and restrictions. So if you need a reading, you can book through me through my website, which is in the description box below. But I see you freeing yourself from this, group number 3, and stepping into your power and stepping into your elegance and your true authentic beauty by working with your spirit guides and with potentially even other people to gain clarity. So you might even be working with other people who support you in your growth and who want to help you and see you rise, instead of people who wanted to win over you or have power over you, is what I'm seeing. It's like these people in the past may have tried to dupe you into trusting them, and then you ignored some red flags that were inevitably there, but because they were saying something that sounded very sweet and it kind of lured you in, then you trusted them, but then you started having all these negative experiences or negative thoughts or negative, situations crop up. So it's like, pay attention to the signs, pay attention to those red flags, pay attention to the red dress. If it's too good to be true, it doesn't always mean that it is, but you do have to pay attention to how you feel about it and what it's evoking within you and what your guidance is kind of bringing you in the external realm. Like, pay attention to those signs, synchronicities, symbols, messages, repeating patterns and patterns and themes, because that's how spirit will speak to you if you're not doing it more on an internal, conversational, telepathic level. Okay, let's get some blocks. Let's get some letters. Okay, so for group number 3, what do they need to know? They want me to take a big handful. Okay. So bizarre. The first thing I saw was Roe. It's like Roe versus Wade was the first thing that came into my mind. It's like something about like your own empowerment and your ability to choose. I'm seeing SRI and I don't know what that means. So maybe this is something that's specific to you. Seeing snow. It feels like that coldness of the Hermit card. There's like winter. This could be something that happened in winter once upon a time, or it could be something that you're just feeling like left out in the cold, as though your needs are not being met, or you're just feeling really judged, because they just drew my attention to the Judgment card. It's like you're feeling judged by people. Yeah, this is okay. Very interesting. And it's like you're limiting yourself in some way here. So you might feel like there's not any direction that you can go, but there is. Okay. It's going to be okay is what I'm seeing here. It's going to be okay. Your spirit guides are wanting you to know that. I'm seeing wren. I don't know if this is like a name. I think wrens are a bird, but it's with a W on the front. But wren could be somebody that you know, or somebody who's going to help you, or this could be some part of your name. It's on. Something's on. It's on. Something's on. What is on? SR, sorry, senior, sir. It's on, sir. I don't know. Okay. I see rest. It's important that you rest, because we did have the recovery card here as well. So there's something about this that you're needing to like recover your energy, or recover your confidence, or your ability to communicate and connect to your guides, because it's like you've been kind of out of alignment or off frequency wise. And so you haven't been on the right channel to be able to connect and receive that guidance clearly. It's like you've been hung upside down. So, but you do need to rest. So take some rest to be able to connect, so that it can come back on. Maybe that's what they were talking about. Like, it's on. Rest is important. Rest is on. I'm also seeing none, or like non-entity, non-agent. That's weird. But also none. Maybe you feel like there's not enough of something, or yeah, I don't know. Tis the season makes me think, and tis the season makes me think of Christmas, and so we did have snow, so there's something here about Christmas and or like December or January. What happened around that time? Group number 3. It could have been this year, it could have been previous years, or maybe this is talking about something to come. Let me just read into this a Let's see what else comes up. Rose. And you did choose the red dress. Rose makes me think, the first thing that came to mind was Rose from Titanic. So maybe you lost someone in Christmas time or in the winter, or maybe you're just in the winter of your life and it feels like that rose is wilting, because now they're showing me the Beauty and the Beast and the rose wilting. And it's like constant perpetual winter around his castle. And it's like you're in this negative thought. You're trapped in negative thought. You're not seeing something clearly. You're not believing that there's a yes. You're seeing only no's. Ah, okay. Okay. I'm seeing rent. You might be worried about paying the rent. You might be worried about money. I mean, this is like a rags to riches pretty woman story here. So yeah, she literally couldn't pay the rent, and she was hard up for cash, and that's what put her in that situation of disempowerment where she was selling herself. That's the devil energy that we had there. So it feels like you being stuck in these negative thoughts, it's like you're not seeing the guidance that's trying to get you out of that situation, and it's keeping you stuck, and it's lowering your vibration. So you do need to free yourself from some of these negative influences or things that you're instigating within yourself or perpetuating, and then it's going to help you to blossom, because the rose does also make me think of blossoming, blooming, confidence, beauty, sweetness, authenticity, uniqueness, and that power that comes from that, because roses are one of the most high frequency flowers. So you are meant to be being able to step into this very unique, beautiful, abundant, high frequency energy that's going to help you to pay the rent, or it's going to help you to see things more clearly. I'm seeing torn. You might be torn. You might be confused about what to do. You might have gotten this guidance. Ooh. Group number 3, if you've been getting this guidance and you've been seeing the red flags, but you've been torn about what to do about it because maybe you're attached to someone, or you don't want to end a relationship, or you don't want to put yourself outside of your comfort zone, or you don't want to take this risk, because maybe you're being told to do something that's going to make you leave something that's creating a sense of security, even though you're like, maybe you're not satisfied where you are, but you're like, well, how am I going to pay the rent? So you're torn. But it's like, it's tearing you apart. It's putting you out of your integrity, and it's lowering your vibration. So you're just going to actually have a harder time paying the rent or getting those needs met, because your frequency is now out of whack and you're not in alignment. So you're not in the flow of the universe. Abundance has a hard time coming to you when you're in that state. So it's like you kind of got to take a leap of faith here is what I'm seeing. You've got to trust that what you think is glittering and gold is temporary, false, and fake, and it's already starting to deteriorate. So stop holding on, because the actual magic, the actual blessings, the actual fairy godmother coming in and bringing this happily ever after is trying to come in and make your dream come true, but you're resisting it. Yeah. You're not owning it. You're not standing in that. You don't feel like it's meant to happen because you're stuck in lack mentality or scarcity or fear. Okay. I'm seeing the name Ron. Maybe this is I just heard like boss. Maybe this is your boss or someone who you're beholden to in some way. I'm seeing the word 10. This could be like 10 months or the 10th month. What is the 10th month? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. The 10th month is October. So it could be that you start to shift something in October, and then by Christmas, by the time it snows, it starts to gain momentum, or you're freeing yourself from something. Because I'm seeing rest again, or maybe you just need to rest, take a vacation in October to December. I mean, that's a big vacation, but yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be trapped in a net. You're going to continue to be trapped in this net, in this web of the 9 of Pentacles. It's like you're stuck. Trapped in a box, because they're showing me the Judgment card here with these people coming out of their coffins or their boxes. It's like you don't want to be trapped in this box. You don't want to be trapped in this experience of lack and limitation. You're meant to get out of it. Rise. You're meant to rise. You're meant to. And the Judgment card it's like they're rising up out of those boxes or up out of those coffins So you're meant to rise out of this. You're meant to, I'm also seeing the word run, even though we don't have a U, but you're meant to run away from whatever this is and run to what is going to help you to rise, what's going to bring you back up again, what's going to help you heal and recover and get back your vitality. Because if we're talking about the root chakra here, this is very much fear about your ability to create security for yourself or to have that stable income or something like that. It could even be physical, like maybe you don't feel like you have the energy to be able to do what you're being guided to do, or to get out of a situation that's very restrictive and lack-based. And that's why they're saying you need to rest, you need to go into recovery, you need to rebuild your energy so that you can run away and rise back into your natural energy. And they're going to help you do that, but you need to listen, is what they're saying. It's like you need to actually take action on the guidance you're getting rather than doubting it or staying in those cycles of fear. I'm just seeing RN again. It's like run, you can do this, or get out of there. If it's a negative situation, like get out of there. Those red flags are trying to get you to take action. Seeing the word toss, like you've got to toss something out here. You've got to run away from something. You've got to get out of a situation because it is not for you. Maybe it's a living situation. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a job that you're working in. It's like there's something here that is significantly impairing your ability to step into your dream life and to have this pretty woman moment where you're freed from the lack, where you're freed from the slavery, where you're freed from the disempowerment. You know how you don't have to sell yourself anymore. You don't have to stay in those disempowering situations where you're constantly coming up short and worried about how you're going to pay the rent, or coming up short on being able to pay the rent and having to climb out the back window like in the movie. So, to avoid your landlord. So I feel like you've got to toss something out here. You've got to, they just showed me something, tossing something into the air. It's like, you've got to let something go free, or you've got to just like take your shot, like shoot your shot. Because it's like, it's now or never is what I'm hearing. Okay. I'm seeing the word sit. your guides are getting a little, like, not frustrated, because guides don't ever really get frustrated. They just have such high perspective and unconditional love that they don't get frustrated. But what I'm seeing is them saying, like, sit your ass down and listen. Okay, this is not me, don't shoot the messenger. But you're meant to be listening to this right now, and you've had a hard time doing that. So they're like, find somewhere calm where you can be alone, where you can just dedicate this time to listening. And you do need to do that, because you're going to get a clear yes or no, and you're going to see what you need to do. You're going to get clarity on something that has been keeping you oppressed, because that's the energy I'm getting. It's like oppression, and it's going to help you to heal yourself and free yourself from this lack or loss, or and it might feel like a bit of a toss-up, because they're taking me back to the word toss. So it might feel like a toss-up, like maybe you feel like you could win or lose at this, but they're telling you it's a definitely yes, that you'll succeed. You just need to trust this. It might feel like a gamble, but it's not actually a risk, because they are showing me, we don't have a K, but they're showing me that. So it's not as much of a risk as you think it is, because you're being protected and guided through this whole process. You just need to actually take action and listen to that. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. They keep repeating 10 here. So you're something to do with 10. Yeah, you've got to say no to something. You've got to put your foot down, group number 3. You've got to stand in your power, set a boundary here. 10 days, 10 minutes, 10 months. I don't know. Yeah, they keep showing me 10 and then rest and then no. So maybe you've been working for 10 months straight and you haven't rested. And they're like, stop that. It's too much. They want you to rise, but you need to say no to things that have kept you stuck or trapped. You're meant to be in that elegant dress. You're meant to be honored and doted on and pampered. And I'm getting the feeling here very strongly, group number 3, that you have not. If anything, you've gotten the opposite. You've gotten things taken from you. You've had loss. You've had restrictions. You've had people pressuring you or guilting you or putting you into obligation, or you've just felt obligated on your own. And you've just been like going too hard and putting yourself into a position of lack, and then stressing out because you're constantly overwhelmed and burnt out and pushing too hard, or other people are pushing too hard on you. And that's why you're not seeing this clearly, and why you need to rest so that you can recover and start seeing this clearly, and then rise up, free yourself from this net, right? Free yourself from this net through the rest and the reciprocity I'm hearing as well. The rest will bring reciprocity energetically, and you'll be able to, it's like an investment. Think about rest as an investment. That's what your spirit guides are saying. If you don't rest, you're not investing in yourself, and you're going to lose. You're going to lack. You're going to depreciate in value, not personally, but just energetically. It's like your net worth goes down when you don't rest. So you need to rest because it's an investment in your net worth energetically. That's what's going to help you rise. It's going to help you see things more clearly. It's going to help you take action, and it's going to help free you from any lack, limitation, or loss that you've been in the past, and free yourself within a period of time, because time does seem to be a factor here. Okay. I'm seeing north, even though we don't have an H. You could live in the north, or you could be called to travel north. Maybe this rest or recovery is somewhere that's in the north, or maybe it's an actual place that has the word north in its name. For whatever reason, that just came up for someone out there. I'm seeing the word sent. Maybe you're being sent somewhere. Maybe you're being sent north. Maybe that's the guidance they're giving you, or maybe this is somewhere that your job or someone else is sending you, and you're like, I don't want to go there, so you feel torn. I'm also seeing the word nest, and the nest makes me think of the home, the safety, the comfort. Again, it's like very root chakra based. The color red of the dress is the root chakra. So you're meant to create some safety for yourself. You're meant to have a nest that you can go to recover, to heal, to connect to yourself, to lick your wounds. I'm seeing as well, because that's literally what they just showed me, was like an animal licking their wounds. You need to recover, and then that magic is going to come in, and you're going to be able to see it more clearly and actually be able to grasp it. So even if it seems temporary, this new level of magic that's aligned with your recovered self is going to actually be more long-standing. So even if you get that 7 days, or I think it was 6 days in Pretty Woman that she ends up being with him, but it's like supposed to be temporary. Even if it says that it's going to be temporary, it's going to be like longer standing. So let's say, for example, you get a job interview at a place up north, and you have to travel to go there, and you're concerned about it because it's a big investment, and it's like there's other factors that work here, and you're worried because it's a risk. And they're saying, we'll try you out for a week, or we'll put you on a probationary period, and you're worried that you're going to lose it. But then eventually, within like 10 days or something like that, they realize that you're the perfect fit for the job, and then you get offered like a very high paying, secure, financially abundant position, and they put you up in accommodations and this and that. So it's like, this is just an example. It doesn't have to be literal, but it's this energy of, if it seems like it's temporary to begin with, if you're in alignment, it's going to result in a longer term dream come true or happily ever after situation. But if you're not in alignment and you're not seeing it clearly, first of all, you're probably not going to take that opportunity to begin with, but because you're just too exhausted and you're going to say no to it or something like that, where you should be saying yes. Versus because you're not saying no to other things, right? It's like you have to be very picky and choosy about what you're saying yes and no to in regard to your energy. And the other side of this is, oh, sorry, I just had it. Now it's gone. Hold on, it'll come back. Spirit, can you remind me of what that was? Right. That glamour magic and that all that glitters is not gold type of energy. It's like you're going to be able to see through any facades. So if something is presenting itself as too good to be true, and it actually is too good to be true, you're going to be able to discern and see that for what it is, and no longer go for that or put your time or energy or thought into that. And I'm feeling that one specifically in regard to relationships. And then there's also job energy here. So it's like those two aspects, and that's very Pretty Woman, because those are the two major themes of the movie, is like work and love, and how those two get, balanced when we step into authenticity and authentic connection and live from the heart. So this is what I see for you, group number 3. Very interesting and different reading than the other two readings. And I hope that it resonated and that it supported you. If you do need any help, again, you know where to find me. You can book through the website. I do all of my work online because it's international. So it's very easily accessible to you. All right. I am sending you so much love, blessings, and healing and protection to be able to free yourself from this cycle and listen to your guides and your guidance to guide you into your happily ever after. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.